Oh, hi. Welcome to Fabrication with Brian. Oh boy. Right about now is probably a good idea to tell you that I have no idea if this is going to work. Today we're going to start welding up our framing to make the pneumatic pipe ender. Let's weld up these big old gaps. So for the most part, what we need to do is kind of just collect all our parts where we need them. But mostly we're going to go ahead and put the frame together, specifically the base. We can get started on the base. Like, it's going to be square. And we're pretty sure what size it's going to be. So let's go ahead and weld up a square. Struggles of working a new gimbal, figuring it out. Anyways, okay, got this. It's nice and flat, as you can see. No wobble, no wibble wobble. So I think we're gonna put these guys over here. And it is gonna be a decent gap to fill in, like I showed you earlier. Let's get these guys. These are these tall uprights. It will kind of hold. It will hold the pipe bender in place. Because I kind of want them like that. But square. You know what I mean? So let's make an adjustment right here. Get that guy right there. I mean, square is square, right? My clamp isn't big enough. There we go. Ooh, 3/32 rod. Big gaps need big rod. So that's why we're going to use this one, because it's a big gap. And I don't feel like cutting another piece. Because if I cut another piece, that means I'm admitting defeat. No! Take it. Take it. Ah. It's an ugly tack. Tungsten's seen better days. All right. Whew. There's probably like fitters and welders that are just screaming at their screen right now to be like, "Hey, you're not supposed to do it that way." And I'm like, okay, bro. Okay. That is a hell of a tack. That needs to happen here. I mean a hell of a tack. I mean a big old tack. Ow, that's hot. There we go. Alright. Get this up on the table. Let's weld in a comfortable position. Because comfortable position. Can you see me? I'm up here. Because welding in a comfortable position is going to give you the nice weld. Not that I'm a professional welder. I am not. I'm a guy who works in a cubicle that is a professional guesser at how much things cost. That's not bad, isn't it? So this thing's all welded up. As you can see, got the inside, got the outside, got all four corners. You know, so, and then also I checked, not really bowed. It came out pretty square per the little speed square right there. It doesn't need to be like high machine precision, but we wanted to get close, right? So I feel like I got pretty darn close. And now we have the bottom part of our frame. This is going to be the bracing for these long uprights to kind of go in between here. I don't want to bring it all the way to the back for kind of weight distribution purposes. Also, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to have some nice reinforcement that kind of keeps it together. One thing, whenever I made these cuts, I will have a fairly decent gap to fill in. But that's why we got the 3/32 rod. That's going to come in for the rescue. But for the most part, yeah, this is pretty flat. Got a little bit of a wobble, but that's slightly, plus it might be the concrete, but or that's what I'm gonna blame it on. So I'm gonna go ahead and at least get one of these guys. I'm gonna get them both tacked up. Probably gonna move all the welding equipment down here from the table to kind of, or I'll move this over there closer. I don't want to tack this. I want to tack this in, and basically the ground is fairly flat and enough to keep this nice and level, so I can tack it in place. All right, let's weld up these big old gaps. Did I just pop my tack over there? We're about to find out. Okay. So far, it's going pretty good. In between here is going to be one of those other tall deals that goes over, but we got to weld this out. These gloves, they've just about seen their last arc strike. Why was that such awkward to say? Man, that one looks pretty good. That one does too. So far, they all look pretty damn good for someone who doesn't weld professionally. That is, ow. It's a little far on the poke out. Ow. That ceramic cup is hot. Uphill, tough spot. It is steady, but I got it. This is a toughie, but got this and one more weld. Sealed up. Yeah, man. I know what I'm doing. I can glue metal together. Doesn't look like a robot did it, but I'm okay with that. Alrighty. Can can we get you out the way? Go get our mount plates. These guys. I'm gonna use some C-channel that I drilled holes. Okay, got this all bolted back together because, yeah, this is the part, this is the side that doesn't move. This is the arm that bends and rotates the die, as you can see, okay? While it absolutely just scorches that indicator. Anyways, but this is what's gonna weld to there. I just have to decide and figure out how is it going to weld. And I'm thinking it's going to be welded along here. That's what I'm thinking it's going to be. And also maybe back on the other side, but definitely welded pretty good. These two columns tacked in place, but as you can see, it's going to line up with those C channels, so it's going to weld to the top of there. That's the idea, is that guy kind of goes probably on this side actually. So gonna be on this side because remember, we're gonna feed pipe in this way. It's gonna bend it vertically because we're gonna mount the pneumatic cylinder, that guy, we're gonna mount that guy right there. So we made some good progress. So I know this looks a little bit scary, a little bit sketchy, but I think we got it under control. We got a nice little engine hoist holding this guy up. I wonder if we can make it. It's heavy, which is why it's holding it up, not me holding it up. So I can make some adjustments at where this thing kind of sits at. And right now, as you can see, this is probably the most extreme that this thing's going to be sitting at in this position, which is like 130 degrees of bending, which is pretty good. I just need to at least get like 45, 50 degrees out of one swing. That's what I'm hoping for. So pretty much what I need to work on is attaching the mount point up to the top part of this guy. That's pretty much why we're here. So C-clamps. Perfect, because this swings this way. Let's see if we lower this slack down, if the C-clamps got this. Right, see, this is exactly what I'm going for here. Okay, let's pick this thing back up because that's heavy. I just had coffee, so I'm a little shaky. Get a little heat. All right, yes. Yes, camera's a little low, I get it, but it keeps this in picture. So ideally, how this is going to work is pipe is fed through here, okay? Pipe is fed through this way. Do I have some pipe? Pipe. So ideally, pipe's gonna get fed through right here, right? Get this guy in place. It's going to get put into the chuck guy. And then it's going to basically bend this guy up. Just like that. The upright's welded completely out. We've got the pipe bender C-channel mounts, those are completely welded out. I didn't do too bad for uphill. Probably could have did a little bit better job cleaning up, but for the most part, those are uncomfortable to weld on the ground. Of course, the difference between like this weld and that weld is that weld I put the whole frame on the table, but that was because there wasn't 3 feet of an upright. And then, but everything's kind of come together, even welded underneath, up the sides, all around. So every contact point has a weld so that this is as solid and sturdy as possible, because it's going to be holding, you know, pipe bender that's going to, worst case scenario, have 20 tons of, no, I'm sorry, 8 tons. 8 tons of force pushed upon it, but to bend carbon steel tubing isn't that bad, especially when we got into aluminum tubing, and it's really not that bad. It's actually effortless. That's not going anywhere. So now we got to mount the cylinder right off the bat. So with the cylinder fully extended, getting a whopping 73 degrees. But now I need to let the pressure out. Don't let that fall. There's an issue here. So for you guys smarter than your average bear, this goes this way, this one goes that way. It's going to push it that way, which is not right. So I'll have to add another cross beam right here to move the bottom mount point inward. I am loving this. So I think we'll go with this mount point. I need to shorten the riser a little bit because we're not quite where we need to be. Well, actually we are pretty good actually, that right there. I just need to spin that and then get those lugs welded onto there. Before I weld this permanently, let's test this out. So right now it's just resting, it's bolted here, but the bottom just resting where I'm just going to hold it, and we're going to see how it actuates. 75, 80, and that's where she stops. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I'm liking it. Yeah, and it bottoms out below the 0 degree mark. Something else that is favored, and it just looks like conveniently some of the drops that I had cut works out well. Pull my hair up. Baby shark doo 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 doo. Baby shark doo doo. Here we go. I haven't put casters on it yet. However, this kind of works a little too good. So I might just, you know, keep this guy. Keep it like this. It rolls. I could park it somewhere. Let's mount up the cylinder though, right now. Everything's got a low battery. Okay, so bolted up. So we got our sleeves. This is mounted fairly center. You can see we got our lugs underneath there. Actually, the middle lug didn't fit. So we only got 2 lugs down there, which is fine. It's all right. But yeah. And now, I feel like that needs to probably reset, but let's give this guy a whirl. All right, I think that's enough because it moves. Proved it's moved. It's nice and solid. Let's bend a piece of pipe. Let's get like a 40-degree bend on this pipe. This is the pipe bender, and it bent a piece of pipe according to, you know, as I desired it to be, 40 degrees. It did really good. It has so much more stroke with how it's configured with where the mount point of that cylinder is, and it can go, looks like all the way up to about just over 70 degrees. So probably would, with kind of the little bounce back that steel has, it looks like it'll be about pretty much a 70-degree bend that you could possibly get out of one stroke. And then of course, if you have the proper die from JD Square, you can go further than 180 degrees. Of course, the die is only for 180 degrees, but if you really needed to get there, you could. But yeah, this is pretty good. So I think I'm gonna for right now, I'm gonna definitely call it a night. I don't plan to make any more changes other than perhaps make storage in this front area for additional dies, because I have right now I have 3/4 inch die in there, and I have a 1 inch die, and I'd like to have it hold, you know, any and other accessories needed. Probably also need to do something with these spare parts. I definitely don't want to get rid of them. Same with the pedestal. Probably not going to be using the pedestal much anymore, being that this works pretty darn good, and those will need a place to go. So I'll see about making some storage on it. Probably this is pretty much the end of this video, because it's going to be, all I'm going to do is probably strip off and take off the bender and the cylinder, and I'll wipe it down and paint it just to help preserve this thing, because golly, does it work pretty good, and it's exactly how I envisioned it. It's now mobile. You can move it anywhere. You can put it off onto the wall. It's no longer going to be a permanent fixture in the floor. All good all around. So, if you liked the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have questions of how I came up with this, size of the material, welding information, tooling information to kind of help get this accomplished, put it down in the comments below. Be happy to answer whatever I have. I'm sorry I probably maybe missed a step or two, but for the most part, it was just a ton of welding, and it was a ton of just figuring out how big do I want this thing. For the most part, this is 2x2 square tubing. That's pretty much everything on the frame, except for the large C-channel. I think it's like 5-inch C-channel that I'm using for the mount plates for the bed. So if there's any other questions on how this came about, put them in the comments below. And hey, if it's your first time here, why don't you think of subscribing?